What's up, Pat?
Good morning, guys, and it is a good morning. We're coming off the NFL draft, and a lot of people are fired up about their teams because this is the time of year where even the really bad teams, let's say like the Cincinnati Bengals, are like, man, I feel pretty good about our team. Like, we're going to go into the season. We got a new quarterback. Like, anything can happen. It's that Monday when everyone feels like they've got a shot.
It's everybody the first hour after a fantasy draft. You always feel like you have the best team.
Right, you're filled with hope. It's kind of like right before the season starts. You have that this could be our year thing.
Yeah, as we get closer to the season, we will get to training camp at some point. I think a little bit of realization hits like, oh man, maybe we're not as good as I was hoping we were going to be. But right now, coming off the NFL draft, you load up on some new guys, some fresh faces, some college football stars that you followed, and you're thinking, okay, I think we're turning a corner. We could be good. If you're a really good team, let's say like I'm a 49ers fan, we had a pretty good draft, but we didn't have a lot of holes to fill. So, I was watching the draft, but I wasn't super into it because, as a 49er fan, to see who we got, because I feel like we're still right there. We've got a lot of the main guys coming back. But if you're, let's say, like a Bengals fan or a Dolphins fan or a New York Giants fan, you're thinking, okay, we're loading up again. We've got a shot.
Yeah. A lot of teams taking their last shot too.
Now, we knew on a Friday that the Chargers were pretty much looking like they had their next quarterback going forward. How did they finish off the weekend looking?
Yeah, so the say in this draft, and let's see. So they took Justin Herbert with number 6 overall, and that was their biggest need. We all know Phillip Rivers going to the Colts, and they still have Tyrod Taylor, or Tyrod, as I think his real name is, but he never wanted to correct anybody. But and remember, the Chargers are a really good team on paper. Like, they already are built to win now. We talked about this a little bit last week. Cincinnati was picking number 1 for a reason because they're not a good team. But the Chargers at number 6, when you look at those top teams picking in the draft, like maybe the top 10, the team that's built to win now was the Chargers. Like, I would say even like the 49ers, there wasn't a lot of holes to fill. So the quarterback was that one spot that they had to get right. And, of course, they did it with their very first pick. On the flip side, though, if you look at the Rams, we saw in this offseason, Todd Gurley, they let him walk. He went to the Falcons, and then Brandon Cooks was traded, I believe, was to the Houston Texans. So they had some needs to fill right there, and they did exactly that. They got a running back in the second round. That was Cam Akers from Florida State. And then they've got a receiver, Van Jefferson, out of Florida. So, again, they had specific needs, and they addressed those needs right off the bat in the second round with their very first picks in this draft. So I think they hit a home run there.
That Florida State running back is a hard runner. I think he'll do well.
Right.
Yeah, and they've already got, who was the guy they drafted last year? I think he was out of Memphis? I'm drawing a blank on his name right now.
Yeah, the kid. Yeah, I remember that because the kid was doing decent.
Yeah, so they've got a stable. They got a stable of young running backs. I think they're going to be okay. And you're going to add in Van Jefferson to Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Higbee, the tight end. I think the Rams are kind of back where they started. I think they got a pretty good young nucleus.
They got rid of that big contract in Todd Gurley, and I think they're just finding out that you can kind of go running back by committee.
Yeah, and I think that's what it is. And I know they won't admit it. We saw the writing on the wall with Todd Gurley for a while, right? That he wasn't going to be the guy. Like he like a lot of running backs, it's not his fault. It happens to a lot of guys. It's like you are the best in the NFL for about a season or two, and then you just kind of walk off a cliff, and you're like, whoa, where is that guy? Like, he's not here anymore. Who's this new guy? Like, he's just not the same person at the tailback position.
Now, how did some of our local boys do in the draft? I know we had a couple guys from the Corona, Norco, Santiago area going.
Okay, so I know this is going to pain you a little bit, 40, but our highest draft pick out of the Inland Empire, it was our guy Troy Dye, the linebacker out of Norco High School. Hey! One of the all-time greats at the University of Oregon. He's a Duck. He went to the 4th round to the Minnesota Vikings, which is interesting because if you go back to the previous draft, the Vikings took our running back Alexander Madison from San Bernardino High School.
Right.
So you could say the Vikings like the IE kids. So there's a couple Inland Empire guys now with Madison and Troy Dye. In fact, I talked to Alexander Madison yesterday. And he's like, yeah, dude, he's like, Troy Dye's a stud. He's fired up to get out there. And Minnesota's a really good team that he's going into. He's going into a great situation.
The Vikings do a good job of covering the IE. I mean, Toby Gerhardt went there. Even before then, a guy that I played Pop Warner with, Heath Farwell, went there. We got a slew of IE guys go to Minnesota.
The Vikings like the IE, but I think the NFL likes the IE too, because even look at my middle linebacker up in Seattle, Bobby Wagner, IE kid.
Colony High School out of Ontario.
Everywhere out here.
Yeah, definitely. And then, so Troy Dye was the only guy in our coverage area that went in the NFL draft. Officially it went, but we had a bunch of undrafted free agents. And I'll get to those guys, but let me tell you first that, we're brought to you by Matheson Gas. They are the gas professionals, 3 locations across the Inland Empire. If you're an essential business, you're still, working right now, we do appreciate that first and foremost. If you need gas, check out their website. That's mathesongas.com. Give them a call. They've got the 3 locations. They're ready to help. But again, if you're still operating, let them help. That's mathesongas.com, the website. Matheson Gas. They are the gas professionals. So the undrafted free agents, it's kind of this wacky thing. You guys are football fans. You know this. So the draft ends. You do the 7 rounds of the NFL draft. And then just a bunch of guys start signing as free agents who weren't drafted. Like Sunday night into Monday morning, you see all these guys going, getting their spots, at least in the training camp. These undrafted free agents, they might be kind of a longer shot to make the team, but it happens. It still happens for some of these guys.
When you're drafted, you are stuck with a team. And I've heard, at the end of the draft, sometimes it's better to not be drafted because then you get to pick your situation. You go like, okay, this team is really heavy on receivers. If I go to this team, I got a better chance at making that roster.
It's true.
40, you're exactly right, because if you're going to sign it as an undrafted free agent, you might have options. You might have several teams that want to bring you in. So instead of being drafted in the 6th or 7th round to a team you don't want to go to, you might say, hey, I've got the 49ers, the Packers, the Eagles, the Seahawks. They're all inquiring, to bring me into camp as an undrafted free agent. So you've got options. And speaking of, so our guy J.J. Taylor, one of the all-time greats at Centennial High School, great running back, University of Arizona, he signed with the New England Patriots.
Yeah.
Patriots are always needing running backs.
Hey, that means he knows he's good.
Obviously Bill Belichick must know something. But, okay, another great situation. The Patriots don't have like this great, running attack. J.J. Taylor could carve out a spot like they compare him to like a Darren Sproles. Remember Darren Sproles had a great career, 3rd down back, returning kicks. That could be J.J. Taylor, but on the New England Patriots. Like, what a great spot for J.J.
Very cool.
Yeah, very.
And then we had a bunch of guys, Aleva Hifo, a wide receiver from Heritage, to the Chiefs, several Vista Marietta guys signed, another Norco guy, Cam Sutton. I could go on and on, but there was a ton of guys from the Inland Empire signing those undrafted free agent contracts right after the draft ended. Like, again, last night, Sunday into Monday, and we just had a bunch of guys. I saw a couple more this morning, in fact. So it's still happening. There's still... some teams bring in a lot more than others. Like some teams might bring in like 15 guys. Other teams might only bring in like 2 or 3. It's their prerogative.
It's like the NFL's version of a used car lot. Wheeling and dealing, dude.
They are. And finally, guys, a little bit of hope here for sports fans. So the NBA is going to be opening up their practice facilities on Friday. They're not having team practices yet, but they're opening up their facilities on Friday so the guys can come in, the NBA players can come in and start working out. It sounds like individually on their own, but at least we're kind of moving at least in that right direction at this point.
In those areas where the stay-at-home orders are being relaxed or whatever, because I guess it's being considered like, here's a business, it's being relaxed, so this business can kind of start crawling back. This is a signal that maybe a little turn is happening.
Like Pep said, it doesn't sound like it's going to be the organized team stuff, but the players can at least go to the facility to get their individual workout in there, so it's at least a little bit of a baby step.
We'll take it, right, Pep?
Yeah, and I heard, like, for example, Oklahoma City is going to be opening everything up very, very soon. So if the Oklahoma City Thunder were to have a practice or a game, that could be a city or a metropolitan area that would say, we're going to get back together. They might be ahead of, let's say, like the Lakers. Like California's orders may be more strict for a while as compared to other places like in Oklahoma City. But we'll have to see how that kind of pans out in the next couple of weeks.
That's why we got you, Pep, to keep us all up to date on that stuff. Tell them how to get your stuff.
It's Inland Sports. We got the interview with Alexander Madison. You can check that out all over social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and, of course, the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. We're talking NFL draft and our local guys.
Thanks, Pep. Perfect, dude.
Sweet.